Story time with It's Lucas. So, this is a story of how this teacher is the worst teacher I have ever had in my whole entire life. And I swear to God, it will make a lot of sense once you hear the story. Anyways, guys, let's get into the video, baby. Woo! So, it all started on average, I think, average morning last April, and so I was studying for my finals because, of course, I had like 2 more months until then, and basically my plan for studying was that essentially I'll study the content, and then during the last and final month I'll have enough time to practice, using actual practice questions, right? That was the goal, and essentially I was close to doing it, but again, it was a lot of content to go through, years worth of content. And also, I was in my last year, so I was a senior. So you'll see why it gets hard, because for all my fellow seniors that are listening to this video, you know how hard it is to learn all this stuff. It takes time, it takes patience, because you have to be patient with it. You can't just fucking do a question paper and expect for the best. That's not how it works, unfortunately. I wish it did. I wish it did, but it does not. So yeah. Anyways, because of a regional situation I had in the country that I'm living in, our schools, they might stop our our AILs exams. And I was very worried because, of course, it's my final year, and I was worried they might cancel it, so I had to maybe restart the year. And I was not in the mood for that, by the way. I was not in the mood for that shit at all. All right. So next week, specifically on Sunday, I went to my physics teacher because he knows a lot more than I do. And personally, I find him way more cooler than my chemistry teacher, who is very annoying, unfortunately. But yeah, no. So he told me that he's gonna send a text over to the school staff, and ask them if it's gonna be canceled, so that he can give us, a schedule to study with, so he can help us out to the best he can. And honestly, amazing teacher. He thanks to him, I clutched up. Literally, thanks to him. Anyways, so essentially, we waited 30 minutes or so near the end of the lesson, essentially, because the lessons were around 40 minutes long, so we had 10 more minutes. And so he got a reply from the school during those last 10 final minutes that the exams won't be canceled, the AILs exams won't be canceled. And everybody was happy, because the thing is, we had the month of April, right? It was fresh early on in April, so we had that plus 2 more months. So again, it was amazing news. I was like, in my mind, I was like, hooray, huzzah, let's fucking go. I was hyped up. But later in the week, specifically on a Thursday, I think, or maybe Wednesday, I don't fucking know. It's within that week, that time frame. So so essentially, I got a reply from the school via email. Basically, our principal for our year said that he's basically announcing that, essentially, hear me out, guys. But he literally said that we have 1 week to study all of our years worth of content. When I heard that, it's like an arrow got shot through my heart, literally. I was like, bro, what the literal fuck, man? What the fuck? How am I supposed to study a year's worth of grade 12 content, AIL specifically, A levels, in 1 week? How is that humanly possible? Physics is already killing me. All right, it already is. Biology, we don't talk about biology. And geography is super chill. Actually, it's it's a lot easy. It's so easy, and the teacher is so chill, and he's amazing, by the way. Amazing teacher. But anyways, so I was weird, because I was like, how the hell am I supposed to do that in 1 week, right? Because obviously, if it were any student, especially if you're a senior right now and you heard that, And if you were in my situation, you'd also be panicking because logically, like that's impossible. We're not Einstein. We're not fucking Jimmy Neutron. We're not fucking geniuses, all right? We're just kids trying to go to university and get a job and then pay taxes and then die of old age, whatever. You know what I mean? But yeah, no. So I was very shocked, and so was my family. Again, it was a tough thing to hear, and also it did not only apply to my year, but it also applied to grade 11 or year 11, as you call it in different countries. And so it applied to the whole entire high school part of our school. So everybody was panicked, everybody was stressing out because again, it's like your final year, you have to cook, right? And so I was worried because again, I don't know what was going to happen, right? Like I don't know whether I am going to pass because again, like how the hell are you supposed to do that, right? And so a week later, essentially on a Sunday, we come back to classes, and then our school's like, we're gonna do study lessons, which again, I don't get it, because why the fuck would you give us study lessons now? Why not earlier, since you knew this would happen? Like why would you tell the students that there isn't going to be like our A levels are not going to be canceled, even though you told us just now it got canceled? Like what the fuck? You should have done that earlier. Like honestly, they should have done it a month ahead, or at least 3 weeks ahead of time, because again, if you knew something like that might happen, you should at least prepare for it just in case, so that everybody is happy, everybody has time, yada yada yada. You know what I mean? And the worst part is they knew something bad was gonna happen, because essentially we had like this A level exam announcements and what they're gonna do, what the schedule is and everything. So they post in the auditorium, and we had to listen to them, like our head of school and also our principal. Let's call him Mr. Jeremy. Don't ask me why. All right, we're gonna call him Mr. Jeremy. Anyways, so Mr. Jeremy is like, this is the structure, this is how it's gonna go, and yada yada yada, right? But the thing is, one student asked, they're like, well, sir, there's a lot of tense regional war going on, right? Like what are we going to do? Like what's gonna happen to our schedule? Are we gonna get our exams canceled? Are we going to have to maybe reset, do our year again? What is the plan, right? And that's a logical answer, because I like, honestly, everybody had that question in their mind. We weren't idiots. All right, everybody knew. But anyways, our school, instead of telling us with clear information that they're not sure, instead they went quiet and they're like, oh, we don't know, this and that, and that this might happen, yada yada yada. And I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Just get on with it. Tell us that you don't actually know, you're not sure, and that this is what we're gonna do, just in case, right? That would be the most logical answer to do, because obviously, we have our final year, right? This has to be taken seriously. It's not something you can be like, oh, I don't know, right? And so instead of actually telling us the planning and what they're gonna do to help us out, because they know something's gonna happen, they know our A levels are going to get canceled. And again, you could see in their eyes, I swear to God, I kid you not, Mr. Jeremy was looking at his other head of school, and they were looking at each other like for a solid 2 seconds before looking back at us. And that told me a lot, because that means something is going to happen. And obviously I expected the worst, because again, they're being very secretive about it, right? They weren't telling us the truth. It's like they're acting like this is some top secret government information, yada yada yada, even though it's just you telling us this actually might happen, and this is our plan, right? Simple. You don't have to act like this is some sort of secret Area 51 US government, whatever, yada yada yada. You know what I mean? Like the fuck. That's like some real bullshit. But yeah, no. So again, instead of telling us the truth and be like, okay, this is the plan, they were like, they brought this old woman. I don't know from where she spawned from. I legit don't know where she came from. And she was like, oh, if you see a bomb, this is the emergency, and yada yada yada, and this is if you see this and that, this is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to hide in your classes and yada yada yada. And I'm like, what the fuck? What do you mean hide in my classes? Hell no, bitch. I'm not hiding in my classes. I'm going home. I'm going home. All right. I'm not going to like fucking stay in school and watch my surrounding neighborhood get freaking exploded or anything. No, hell no. I'm going back home. I'm gonna go ahead and lay on my bed and just pray for the best. I mean, I'm not staying with y'all, bro. I'm not dying with y'all. Hell nah. Never in my life, bro. That'd be the top 10 worst deaths ever. All right, like I'm not risking it for the biscuit. But yeah, so again, this is the backstory of how this happened, and this is, of course, how this all came to be. And let's go to the future. All right, cameraman, skip to the future. All right, no, not that far. Come on, dude. Wrong way. That's too far. That's too far down back, bro. Up in the future. Come on, cameraman, you can do it. Come on. The people are waiting. Okay, do it. All right, and let's go to the future. Oh my god, cameraman, we talked about this. You're supposed to go not that far, but when I was fighting my biology teacher, this is the fucking title of the video. You can't give the people something else, or else it says clickbait or whatever. Come on, do it. All right, thank you. Goddamn. All right, and let's go to the future. All right. Anyways, what happened is that essentially, hear me out on this. What happened is that I kid you not, the day before we started our exams and everything, specifically, I already did my physics exam and everything, so that went well. That went well, and yeah, it was chill. The teacher told us what to do. He gave us the material, and he also gave us 2 days in advance. I mean, not 2 days. I mean 3 days in advance. What the topics are, what the exam papers are. He literally gave us the exact paper we're going to do, plus the answers and everything else, and what the subjects are. Literally, that's what he gave us. And dude, he has such a go for that too. Like, oh my god, best teacher ever. Not like really. But yeah, and so it came. And then we had our biology exam, and I was really stressed for it because prior to the exam, 2 days ago, 2 days, I told my biology teacher via email that can I have the exam paper with the material that's gonna include, plus the mark schemes for those papers, right? I told her that literally 2 days before the exam started. So again, that was the schedule, and I was waiting for a response. And by the way, I sent her that over a weekend, so that not even the weekend. It was literally on a Thursday through Friday. And so I told her, I mean, not sorry, my bad, guys, my bad. I'm mixing shit up. wait. No, I sent her that throughout the weekend. So Friday to Saturday, then Sunday was the schedule of the exam. And so in that time, I told her, Miss, this was what do we got? What's the past paper? What's the mark scheme? Yada yada yada, right? And I was waiting, and dude, I was like stressing out because she did not reply. I waited throughout Friday afternoon, like she sent me an email, nothing, right? And so I was studying, and so later in the night, I again checked my email, nothing yet. And I was like, okay, maybe she saw it and she's writing up an email to give me the information. After all, maybe she's taking a little bit of time to give me all the things I need, right? Again, Saturday morning I checked and I was like, okay, well, where is the email? I was like, where the fuck is it? Maybe it's maybe it's somewhere down below or anything like that. It's not. All right, it's literally not. It's nowhere to be seen in my email. I tried resending it multiple times throughout the day, nothing. And I was like, oh my god, am I fucked? Am I cooked? Like, dude, I was I was stressing out. Like, I was like, what the fuck? Like, actually, what the fuck? Why is she not? Why isn't she not giving me the mark scheme? Because every student like had their shit. They all got their mark schemes and everything, right? But except for me. And I'm not sure about other students. Maybe they also had it, but most of the students, they had what they needed, right? And so I was like, Miss, come on, I need it now. Like, I need my myself now. So I sent her another email about it, and then she did not reply to that email either. And so it came to the day of the exam, and I entered the room knowing that I might be royally screwed. But 5 minutes before we started, essentially, we like, some of the students knew the paper, because again, they were given the, what do you call it, the mark schemes and the date and everything. So again, they knew what they had, and I was like, sort of lost. I was like, hey, can I get, the source material, like the mark schemes and the exam paper? And my fellow student, he said that, yeah, sure, this is the date, this is the mark schemes, and this is what we're gonna have. And I was like super happy, because, like, bro, I was like, fuck yeah, oh my god, fuck yeah, this is amazing. But here's the dilemma, right? I was like I swear to God, I was like literally in a locked in pose. And I was like, holy shit, I got 2 more minutes left. There's no way I can learn what the paper has. There's no shot on God's green earth. And so I had a plan, right? And that was to cheat. And I kid you not, I have never cheated once in my life. Like, I was a good boy. I never once cheated in my life, because I believe that, if you cheat, you might not be able to see what your actual grade is and how much you should improve. And again, I'm not saying that in this video you should cheat. Don't cheat. It's not good. Cheat only if you're in a really, really desperate situation like I was. That's totally understandable, right? But again, if you're not in a tight situation, if you're all good in anything, just try to do your best in the exam, focus, and literally do your best, right? And so, yeah, anyways, let's get back into the story. Enough flip talk. And yeah, so I was like, I'm a cheat, right? Because I had my phone, it was at full charge, and I was like figuring out how the fuck should I do it, right? Because I've never done it before. And so one of my friends, he was like, you should just like put it right underneath your, like, behind your leg, so that when you write, it looks like you're looking at your paper, but in reality you're looking at your phone to cheat, right? And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do it, I'll do my best. And that's what I did, right? And I made sure to cover my eyes, not my eyes, but to make like a to block my sight from the teacher. Because do you know how, like, you can see where people are looking and everything? Essentially, the teacher was right in front of us and she was looking, right? And so again, like, I just covered my eyesight so that she doesn't see where I'm looking at, and so it makes it hard for her to look, right, to see if I'm cheating. I made sure that she couldn't see anything. I made sure my legs covered my covered the front of my desk and everything, to make sure everything's nice. And that's what happened. I started, she gave us the exam, I started to cheat, and then I kid you not, like, I managed to put in a lot of answers and everything, and I was like, in my mind I was like, fuck yes, oh my god, I'm doing it, I'm getting an A. Like, my heart was beating, and I was like, my heart was like boom 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 boom, and I was like, oh my god, fuck yeah. And so, like, I was super hyped and everything, and then I heard her, walk around the class and everything, right? She was trying to, walk around the class. And I looked onto my right, and I saw one of the students in the top right corner of the class. They were also cheating too, so around 4 of them were cheating. Because again, we had 1 week, that's not enough, right? And so they were also cheating. But yeah. So essentially, she came over to me, and then she was like, looking at my paper for a couple of minutes. I was doing like a thinking pose, right? tapping my pen on my desk to think, and hiding my phone because it was literally underneath my leg, right? So yeah, I had legs crossed, and then I was literally like hiding my phone underneath my leg just to cover it up, right? So she does not see. But yeah, so essentially she looks at me for a couple of minutes and just stares, right? And then she left. She turned around, and then she went to the other students to check up on them, and then she came back to sit on her seat. And I kid you not, throughout this whole entire exam period, she had her eyes laser focused on me, even though there are people literally cheating on my right, and it's so obvious because they had their fucking phones right below their right next to their ankles, right? And so it was so obvious, right? And then instead of looking at them and maybe being like, okay, yeah, maybe it's because I need to remove their phones, right? She did not do that at all. She was literally laser focused on me. Like, bitch, what the fuck? What did I do? Right? And so it was near the end of the exam, and I was like literally not the end. It was like halfway throughout the exam because it was an hour and 30 minutes. So yeah, halfway through, and I was like getting almost I was almost done with the paper, by the way. Like I was guaranteed an A. Anyways, so essentially, she then said my name, right? She was like, Lucas. And I was like, brother, what the fuck does she want? What does she want from me? And turns out she wanted, drumrolls please. She said, Lucas, give me your phone. And I was like, I was panicked. I was really panicked, and I was shocked. And I was like, fuck, here goes my future, bye-bye. And it was a sad moment for me. Like I was very sad about it and pissed off too, because she was only looking at me, even though there's literally a shit ton of other people cheating too, right? But yeah. And so anyway, she pulled me out of the class, and she said, okay, you're gonna have to redo the test later in the auditorium, because I was not doing the exam in an auditorium. I was doing it in a in the school's year 12 study rooms. But yeah, anyways, so she pulled me out of the class, and she told me that, okay, you're not gonna be doing the exam again. And I was like, but miss, it's not fair. And she looked at me, and I kid you not, she was like, it's not fair. She literally said this. She was like, she said, well, it's not fair on me because you're cheating. That's being super distrustful, and that shows you don't trust your teachers, and you don't trust the school, and you're betraying the school's trust on you, and that cheating is not good, and you're using your phone a lot, and again, it's on you. It's your fault. And when she said it's your fault, I kid you not, I had a flashback of all the times I was being a pushover to those dumbass teachers in my throughout my life, right? Because like throughout my life, some teachers would take advantage on my innocence, and they would be like, it's your fault, this and that. And I had a flashback. I kid you not, it was a whole entire like anime flashback. And then something snapped in me, like my inner Super Saiyan awakened, and I was like, I was clearly like mad as shit when she said that. All right, cause I kid you not, right? I kid you not. I told her that, miss, I was desperate, right? Because again, I had 1 week to study, and by the way, they told us that we had 1 week to study out of nowhere. By the way, right? It's just a random. It's not even like they didn't even say they did not even say that to us during the A levels guidance session, right? They did not tell us that at all, but they told us a week in a random time at a random hour, and it was like, bro, you gotta be fucking kidding. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? Like, come on, what the fuck are we doing? But yeah, no. So essentially, I was like, Miss, it's not my fault, right? It is your fault. And I was really desperate because, Miss, I gave you I sent you an email 2 days prior to the exam about what I need to know and what the what was the content in the exam. Can I have the mark schemes and the past paper? And she was like, well, it's not my fault. It's a weekend. I don't work on weekends. And I'm like, in my mind, I was like, bitch, what the fuck are you saying? You don't work on weekends. Like, what are you saying? My dad pays you a shit ton of money for you to do your job. So I don't care if it's a weekend or not, because it's literally just 2 words and 2 files. That's it. And the thing is, she had those files because she can, like, anytime she needs those for extra students, right? She prints them out instantly. So it shows that she has those files at hand at the ready anytime she wants to use them. So she could have just sent me those 2 papers plus the mark schemes and what the content is, and that's it, right? She could have been, oh, the exam paper has 1 and 2 in it, and this is the mark scheme with the file, and this is the exam paper itself, right? That's it. 2 simple words, 2 simple text, 2 simple files. That's it. Like, if you already have those files at hand at the ready, that should take you like literally 1 minute, not even 1 minute, like 30 seconds. That's it. 30 seconds of your time out of 24 hours. That's not a big deal. That's like something very small. It's minor at best. But yeah, she was like, she literally told me that she does not work on weekends. And I was like, what does that have to do with anything, right? And so I was like, Miss, but still, you should have sent me those files. It's not that hard, Miss. Just send me those files, right? And then she was like, well, I don't care because you should have studied more and studied harder. And I snapped when she said that. Like, I was literally on the point of cussing her, like cussing at her. I swear to God, she literally told me, well, you should study more. Like, bitch, what am I supposed to do? What do you mean study more? I literally had 1 week to study a year's worth of content. Like, what do you mean study more? There is no way you can study more than that. Like, dog, I kid you not. Like, guys, I spent literally all-nighters studying for a test, by the way. All-nighters. Up to 2 a.m. Like, I was working my butt off, bro. And she was like, oh, study harder. Like, what the fuck do you want me to do? Like, what? Oh, I'm sorry, I couldn't clock in another 4 hours, then wake up for my other exams too. I'm sorry about that. I really am. Like, what the fuck? Screw you. But yeah, no. And that was the last straw. And then I told her that, Miss, still, that's not fair because I clearly told you 2 days prior to text me those messages. It's not that hard. It's not that hard, Miss. Again, I was desperate, and it's your fault for not giving me what I need, right? And then she sighed, and she turned around, and then she said, you're not going to be doing the exam again. Out of my class. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, bitch, what the fuck? What do you mean? My father pays you roughly 15k USD per, like, in total per month. And you're telling me that you can't do a simple task of just giving me this and that? Like, who are you to talk? Who are you being distrustful? Because I swear to God, that trust should be, she should be trusting me from the very start of the school year. You know why? Because I pay her a shit ton of money. My dad pays her a shit ton of money. So does the school. So does the school and other teachers, right? She already has my trust because my dad pays for her rent, for her food, for her clothes, for her fucking, vacation, whatever she does, right? That's enough trust. You should not be talking anymore, right? You shouldn't be talking about trust at all. You should be like, yes, this is what I need. And the thing is, I wasn't even being rude at all. Like, I was saying in a calm tone, this is what I need, and yada yada yada. And dude, like, I was not even being like I'm not even a troublemaker in her classes. When all the other students are talking while she's teaching, I'm quiet, I'm listening, I'm writing down notes. Like, I'm the guy she should be trusting more, because I'm literally doing what you tell me in your classes, and I'm not disrespecting you at all. But here you are disrespecting me, like, in this very exact moment. you're the one who's being distrustful. I'm just a student. I'm trying my best here, all right? And so this is what happened. So I sat down with my friends, and like he came to me, and he was like, what happened? I was like, I got kicked out, and because apparently she knows me cheating, even though there was like 4 more students cheating and making it very obvious. And he was like, yeah, no, man, that she, and then he was like, yeah, no, man, she's a hoe. All right. And sorry for the language, guys. I'm like that's like the worst fucking story ever. That's like disrespectful as shit. But anyways, he was like, she's a hoe because she's definitely rude, and she does not, care that much about us at all, right? Which is true, because she just did something that no teacher should be doing, right? And that makes total sense, because again, like I told y'all, that's not fair, right? And then I was like, yeah, no, man, she's such a bitch, and like, screw her, honestly. Like, worst teacher ever. And then she heard that, by the way. She was behind the door listening to the conversation, by the way. Like, she was listening to our conversation, all right? That's how horrible of a teacher she is. She was listening right behind the door, and she left. She opened the door, and then she left, running and slightly stomping. And I'm like, okay. And in my mind, I knew she was mad at me because she gave me like a glance for 2 seconds. And I'm like, okay, screw you. Like, I'm not afraid, right? And then the thing is, she told me to even like before I sat down with my friend, right? I forgot to tell y'all. But she was like, go to your principal and your a head of science to figure stuff out with him. And you know what I did? I was like, I was sick and tired of their bullshit. I'm in a shit school, and I'm sick of their bullshit, right? And so I'm not going to the teachers. I was like, I told her, yes, miss, I'm going. And turns out I never went. I was like, no, fuck you. I'm not going. All right. I'm not going to the fucking principal for saying something that's true and that's honest, and not disrespecting you at all while you disrespect me, right? I'm not going. Screw you. And yeah, so that's how I sat with my friend and everything, and that's how she heard me behind the door, and then she left mad and angry. And yeah, and what's even worse, right? That's not even the first time she did that, by the way. If I remember, right before our exams, like before all of that stuff happened, during term 1, right? During our classes, I always listen to her and I always, lock in, right? And so when I need to, answer a question, right? She always ignores me every time. Most of the times, she never goes up to my hand, because I lock in. I always put my hand up first, right? And she never tries to answer those questions. She never tries to help me out at all. She's like, she ignores me completely, right? And sometimes when she gives us practice papers to practice, I do them, right? I literally do them, and I'm like, miss, I'm stuck on this question. And the worst part is, right, like, I go to her, and then the thing is, there's these 3 girls, like, if I remember, they always ask her questions and stuff. And the thing is, they take a little bit too long, by the way. They take too long, to the point where it takes like half the lesson, or at least not even half the lesson. Like, they take up all the time for the remaining free time in the lesson, right? And like, they answer shit on questions too. She answers their questions, by the way, I'm out of words here, all right? If it were you guys, you'd be pissed off, right? But anyways, I'm left there hanging on the side, and I'm like, miss, excuse me, because they're taking way too much time, by the way. And she always listens to them, and she always gets them first, even though I'm here waiting. And then she completely ignores me, by the way, right? By the way, I came in first. I always come in first so that she can help me out with those questions, right? But instead, she turns around and answers the other students. Like, what the fuck, bro? And like, yeah. And the thing is, I'm left there hanging, standing up for literally a solid 10 minutes, waiting for her to, answer my questions. And then when they're finally gone, I'm like, miss, this is my question. Here it is. Then she cuts me off, and she's like, well, sorry, Lucas, the lesson has ended. All right, next lesson, I'll answer a question. And like, bro, that's like the most shittiest thing you can do to a person. Like, not really, like the most shittiest thing you can do. So she left me hanging. She disrespected me, right? And then she talks about trust. Like, bro, what a hypocrite. What a hypocrite. There and there. Hypocrite. Through and through. But yeah, no, I was like, and she kept on doing that throughout the year, by the way. Like, every time it's next lesson and I try asking my questions, she just ignores me. Every time. Every freaking time. The only time I remember her actually answering my questions is literally like one question, and then she immediately, you know, went over to me and went over to other students and ignored me, you know. That shows that she's an extremely awful teacher, and she only helps out those students that, you know, already know their shit, right? And not those who actually need help. Again, that's her fucking character. But yeah, it just shows. And again, she does that multiple times throughout the year until like the end of the year. So again, she never answered none of my questions, only twice out of literally the whole entire term 1, 2 to 3, right? And then she talks about trust. Like, bro, what are we on about? Like, come on. Like, bitch, who is you, bro? Who is you? That's like disrespecting. That's like you disrespecting at like higher and higher levels. Like, holy shit, bro. Like, at this point, why is my dad paying you for you to teach me? Like, what the fuck, right? But yeah, if you guys were in my position, you'd also be pissed off, because again, you should not be doing that to your student, right? As a teacher, your job is to teach. But if you don't do that, then you're not a teacher. You're just there sitting down and getting paid free money. You know what I mean? But yeah, and so let's hop back to the story, to the part with the exams and everything. And so I talked to my friend and everything, and he also got pissed off by her, because again, he saw what was happening, and he also gets a little bit ignored by her, right? But yeah. But anyway, but the thing is, what's even worse is that specifically she only answers the rich kids in our class. Not us, only the rich kids. The ones with, you know, daddy's money and fucking big ass villas and everything. She only answers their questions. Not us. Not ours, right? But yeah. So anyways, it's the end of the day. I'm leaving out of the school, and I'm very pissed off. And then the principal, Mr. Jeremy, he calls me over to his office, and he's like, oh, well, Lucas, I heard that something happened with your biology teacher. She's very angry. And I'm like, when I heard angry, I was laughing. I was laughing like crazy inside, because bro, like, excuse you, you're angry? Like, seriously? After all the hypocritical things you've done, which also includes disrespecting me, you're the one who's angry. Like, are we like, what the fuck? What are we doing? Like, are we that ass? Yeah, but that's how it goes. But anyways, he's like, she's very angry, and I was like, yes, sir, I know I cheated in the exam, because again, I was very desperate, and I even told her 2 days prior, before the exam started, like, what if I can have the past paper with the exam paper that we're gonna do, and the mark schemes and the content, and I told him that. I was like, sir, this is what I wanted, yada yada yada. And he was like, and I was like, sir, I understand that, you know, cheating is bad. It is not good, because it affects your grades, and also it kind of doesn't help you a lot with university. But again, I was like, sir, I understand cheating is not fair. I know it's not good to do it, but again, sir, I was desperate, as I had only 1 week to study for my test, and also that she was ignoring me when it comes to, you know, helping me out, right? And he was like, I understand it, and he was like, well, okay, that's understandable, and I'll tell her that, but please refrain from cheating next time. I was like, of course, sir, of course. But yeah, this is the end of the story, guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys have, you know, any feelings about it, about what you think about the whole entire, you know, story, please drop it down in the comments. I'd love to see you guys talk about it and, you know, share your thoughts on it. That would be amazing to see. And yeah, and also a little announcement, by the way. I've thank you guys so much for the support. I have finally become a Twitch affiliate. So yeah, thank you guys so much for the support and for the insane amount of love you guys have been showing.